Welcome to Dem Boyz, a podcast that has 3 picks in the top 20. We're one Saints fan and one Cowboys fan, one fan of who dat and one fan of dat win. We're here to give weekly takes, game recaps, bad betting picks, and the occasional Seinfeld reference.
Our patron Saint/Cowboy of the week is linebacker Warren Capone. No relation to Al Capone.
No relation.
I believe. No. Capone attended Catholic high school in Baton Rouge, which, fun fact for you, sir, is the same high school attended by Longhorn legend Major Applewhite. Capone attended Catholic high school from 1966 to 1970. He was the heavyweight wrestling champion in the 1970 Baton Rouge City Championships. From there, he would go on to accept a football scholarship from LSU. He became a 3-year starter, led the Tigers. I don't know what that is. He was one of. He just let. Well, no, I don't know if I just pasted this wrong from Wikipedia, but anyway, scratch that. He was one of only 8 players in LSU football history to be named to the All-American team twice. He was also 2-time All-SEC selection, and he played in the Sun, Bluebonnet, and Orange Bowls. In 1988, he was inducted into the LSU Athletic Hall of Fame, also named to the LSU All-Century team, and is considered one of the best linebackers in school history. Although he was a great college player, he was not selected in the 1974 NFL Draft because he was considered too small to play professional football. So instead of signing a rookie free agent contract for the NFL, he opted to sign with the Birmingham Americans of the World Football League. As a rookie in 74, Capone became the Americans' starting middle linebacker. He was known for his hard hitting. Team finished the regular season with a record of 15-5 and became the inaugural World Football League champions. 1975.
I have. Before we go on, I do have an update. That is the way that the article is written on it. It's just
is it really?
In this list. I'm about to edit this and make a little comment on here. So.
He led the Tigers in what? Anyway, 1975, the Americans were replaced as the Birmingham WFL franchise by a new team called the Birmingham Vulcans. He was the leader of the defense until the WFL folded mid-season. November 22nd, 1975, he was signed as a free agent by the Dallas Cowboys, becomes a backup linebacker, and was mostly used on special teams, and he played in Super Bowl X and blocked a punt in the game. Became the only player to have participated in championship games for both the NFL and the WFL. August 4th, 1976, he's traded to Tampa Bay in exchange for a conditional draft choice, which was not exercised. 1976, he is waived by Tampa Bay before the start of the season on September 5th. October 26th of 1976, he signs with the New Orleans Saints as a free agent, returns a fumble for a touchdown during the season, and is subsequently released September 6th, 1977. In terms of his post-NFL life, post-professional football life, December 1st, 2005, he begins coaching high school football at Christian Life Academy. In his 3rd season, he was named Coach of the Year, guided Christian Life Academy to a state Class 1A, second-place finish with a 12-2 record just 2 years after the school finished 0-9. On July 26, 2010, he was let go by the school, finished with a 19-25 record, 12 of those 19 wins coming in 2008 in 4 seasons. This would be his only coaching job of his career. Capone is now retired and resides in Plaquemine, Louisiana, with his wife and 2 children, Olivia and Ross. So
I bet the dentist in Plaquemine really clean up.
Yes, they do. They do. Oh boy, I'm Paul the Saints fan.
I'm Brandon the Cowboys fan.
And we're your host, Izzy. Let them know what time it is.
Yeah, that's it. It's go time. Let's see you lift that.
Mr. Mandelbaum, please.
It's go time.
This one's for you, Pop. It's go time.
It's go time.
You've been married 3 times.
That's it. It's go
It's go time.
I'm sending you a text message to alert you, but I'll tell our listeners as well. Is if you want an Easter egg from the show, go to Warren Capone's Wikipedia page and read the edit that I just made to the college career section.
Maybe we can include that in the show notes. We can include a link.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I'll make a note to do that.
It's pretty good. I won't spoil it. No spoilers. I want people to go in fresh.
Andy, Donnie, get in there.
Yes,
check out.
Get in there.
Check out the work.
Get in there. All right. So if you want to contact the show, you can do so via email, blessthemboys@gmail.com. We do have a Donnie dispatch to get to momentarily. Even though his team was off this week, Donnie was not. Donnie does not take a week off. We are on Twitter at bless_dem_boys. I'm at Paul Elliott _316. Brandon is at Ball from Grace. We're on Blue Sky. I did open Blue Sky this week just to see what was going on. Nothing.
What was going on?
Nothing. Hey, you know who was asking about us, Brandon? You know who was asking about us? Nobody.
We haven't quite made it into the. I think some of my edgy jokes are probably don't sit well with the Blue Sky crowd. That's
maybe not.
They're out. They want to silence us, Jerry.
Yeah, probably, and with good reason. If you're checking us out on YouTube Live, appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button while you're here. Up to 20, right? We're up to 20 subscribers now?
We are up to 20. Breaking new ground.
There you go. On to the next 20. You can also check us out on Spotify and Apple. You can like, share, subscribe there as well. Leave a rating and review. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell the bots. Remember, the bots are people too. We will get to the wild card weekend that was, but first, we here at Bless Them Boys do pride ourselves on being able to discuss other things.
But enough about fish. I can discuss other things, you know.
All right, Brandon, what shenanigans you get up to this week?
So I told you this. Okay, so first of all, we'll say happy birthday to my wife. She had her 40th birthday this weekend.
Oh,
so
she okay with you sharing that information? Cut that.
Too late now.
Cut that. Happy 21st.
We'll have to do there's a podcast I listen to, and anytime they'll cut something out, and there'll be this beep, and then someone will go, something got cut. So we'll have that. We'll have a little bit of that in there. There you go.
But a very happy.
So we're taking a trip.
Birthday to your wife.
Yeah, so we did some stuff this weekend, but we're traveling out to a national park this upcoming weekend to celebrate because it'll be MLK Day weekend, so we'll have the long weekends for that. But this weekend we did that, and then Sunday was it Sunday or Saturday? I think Sunday I put on Black Swan and did a rewatch of that with Natalie Portman and Mila Kunis. Which is that movie is still off the walls, still great, excellent movie. And then I did on Monday. I actually following up with that. I was like, I'm going to actually put on. I wanted something to some music to listen to help me concentrate at work, and so I put on the Swan Lake, just the score? Music from the background. It's actually, it was pretty good. So not like the Tchaikovsky actual, the.
Oh, so wait, so the score for the
ballet
film
music?
Okay.
No, the Tchaikovsky original ballet.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah.
So that was good. I actually got a lot done while listening to that too. So did that, and then also on Saturday I turned on the original not the Batman, but Batman with Michael Keaton. I put that on for the kids. More language than I remember being in that movie.
Yeah, that movie's off the charts a little bit, like because you forget how Nicholson dials it up to 11 a couple times, and and Keaton too.
Yeah,
Keaton,
he gets it gets pretty intense in there, but I think they actually enjoyed it pretty well. I remember when I was pulling it up on, I pulled it up on it. It's available on HBO Max if you're interested. All those original Batman movies are available on HBO Max. And so I remember I think the night before, I was like, oh, I kind of wonder where this is. And so I pulled it up, and then you know how you can watch the trailer, and I hit the trailer, and me and my wife immediately were like, oh my gosh, this looks incredibly dated. It looks. Yeah. It was the preview was the trailer was a little rough.
I watched. Did I watch Batman Returns? I try to watch Batman Returns, the second one, around Christmas time because it's a quasi Christmas movie. The one with Penguin and Catwoman. Like it's kind of a
Oh man, Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oof. Yep. Yeah, buddy.
She has a lot of attributes prized by the superficial male.
She does.
You know her. Is it her sister? Dee Dee
was on Seinfeld.
Yes,
she
it
played.
Is her sister, right?
Yeah, wasn't she the woman that George says, "Hi, my name is George. I'm single and I live with my parents," and she was like, I'm Victoria. Hi, or whatever. Yeah,
something like that.
I'm gonna fact check that while you.
And so we did that, and then the other thing is we got the Switch this Christmas, and so we've been having family game nights on there. We've been playing Mario Party, and then this weekend we actually busted out Mario Kart. And there were a couple of times I was very close to rage quitting in front of my children. So that was some good family moments. Let's watch Dad throw his remote across the screen, across the room.
Right.
Let me tell you, Paul, computer be cheating in this game. There were multiple times where I would be ahead in the race for 95% of this race, and at the last second, I would get sniped by the computer like 5 seconds from the finish line, and I almost lost it. I'm just going to go and pat myself on the back for not losing my cool there.
Have I told the story of my roommate who used to get pissed off playing Mortal Kombat in college?
No, I don't think we've heard that one.
So he had a Super Nintendo, and he would play Mortal Kombat on. You know how they had was it the original? Because there was 1, 2, and 3 that we. I don't remember. I remember it was one where you would push the cartridge down into the machine, like it was.
Yeah, that's all the Super Nintendo ones.
Oh, that's all of them. Okay, so anyway, I remember he would play Mortal Kombat for hours, and he would get so pissed off at the game. And one time, like we were just laughing at him because he kept losing. He said, if I lose one more time, I'm throwing this cartridge out the window. Now we lived on the 4th floor of this dorm, so we're like, you ain't gonna.
Is this at SFA?
No, this is at Northwestern. So, sure enough, he loses again because computer be cheating or whatever. And sure enough, he pops the cartridge out, opens the window, and chucks it out.
Did it hit Yuri Testikov?
No, not yet. that would have been good. So we waited. He did watch it fall because I think he was worried that it was going to hit somebody, but it didn't. He sees it, so he sees it land on the on the sidewalk, and so he waits about 15 minutes, and he walks down and he gets it, brings it back up to the room, does the blows on it, pops it back in the thing and starts playing again.
Starts over again.
It's like those cartridges, man. Those things would survive anything.
They were like they were like Nokia phones. Those things would like they'd like survive a nuclear explosion. Some of them.
Real quick before we move on. Yes, Dee Dee Pfeiffer, who was the is she the stepsister of Michelle? Or she's related to Michelle Pfeiffer somehow. She is the younger sister of Michelle Pfeiffer. She was the actress on Seinfeld who played Victoria, who's the woman that George picks up in the opposite. And fun fact, Dee Dee Pfeiffer graced Playboy magazine's February 2002 cover.
I did actually know that because in the DVDs where you have the notes about nothing on there.
Empty calories and male curiosity there, Brendan.
So they have like they have notes about like people that appeared on the show on there, and it's like, she also appeared on Playboy. Yeah.
Just empty calories and male curiosity, huh, George?
Hey, Georgie boy. What about you? What about you, Paul? What did you get up to?
So you mentioned Mila Kunis. I actually did watch a movie. I also watched a movie that starred Mila Kunis. I'll get to that in a minute. 2025 catch up. I did finally watch Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning. I don't know if people remember, but like last year, I was pretty hyped for this movie. Like I was rewatching all the Mission Impossibles to get ready for it. And I just didn't get a chance to see it in theaters. And then the reviews were like not great. And so it finally became available to stream on Paramount Plus. So I checked it out on Paramount Plus.
That took a while.
Yeah, it was. I think it started streaming in December. So it was like 6 months from which back, that's normal pretty much. I mean, now it's kind of abnormal, but.
That's like from the bygone days of VHS tapes,
right? Like Marty Supreme, I saw in theaters, before Christmas or right after Christmas, and I think it's going to be on streaming on VOD like next week or in February. Like so,
you think? Anyway, do you think he's going to win the? Do you think he's going to win the Best Actor?
Well, he won the Globe. He won for Best Actor in a Drama. I mean, his main competition is Leo for One Battle After Another, which if it were me, I probably would lean towards Chalamet. Nothing against Leo's performance, but the One Battle After Another
before
he has, so that's part of it. But like, what Marty Supreme was for Chalamet is what I think he thought A Complete Unknown was gonna be. In terms of like career-defining performance, I honestly I hope it's either one of those two or it's Michael B. Jordan for Sinners. I know Michael B. Jordan's probably not going to win for Sinners, but I'd like to see him at least.
We're heading toward. I feel like we're heading full speed ahead to a scene where Sinners doesn't necessarily win. Maybe it'll win like Best Original Screenplay.
No.
That's
probably so. At the Golden Globes, it won like Best Theatrical Experience or something.
Yeah, it was like box office something.
Yeah,
it was some made up. It was
basically like
the Protector of the Year award.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's like you are not. These are the movies that everybody saw but are not going to win Best Picture. So like we're just going to put you in your own little category.
I kind of like, but I also kind of think it's kind of like made up.
Yeah. But getting back to Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning, the reason, or I did check it out on Paramount Plus, and I could see where the bad reviews came in. It very much felt like, I think I put this in when I logged it on Letterboxd. It felt like a series finale of a TV show. It had that kind of feel to it. Now the last like 30 minutes of the movie are really good, but it's almost 3 hours. So it's a lot of reckoning.
Okay.
It's a lot of reckoning. But I think it's worth it. If you have enjoyed the other films, I would say give this one a chance. I will say this: the timing is pretty good. The pacing's good. It goes by fairly quick. It doesn't get bogged down too much. So for what it's worth, I actually did check out. There's a new series on Netflix that premiered on Friday, and it's called His and Hers, and it stars John Bernthal, who folks might know as the Punisher. He also is in he was in Wolf of Wall Street. He was in Walking Dead years ago. He's in The Bear. Very good actor. So it stars John Bernthal and it stars Tessa Thompson. Tessa Thompson, who was Valkyrie in the MCU. She might actually get nominated. She had a movie come out this year called Hedda, I think. It was like an Amazon Prime movie that she got a lot of praise for. I think she was nominated for a Golden Globe for it. But anyway, so they play. So Tessa Thompson is a former news anchor who she and John Bernthal are married, but they are estranged. So like when the show starts, there is a murder has happened in this small town in Georgia where John Bernthal is is a detective, and Tessa Thompson mysteriously just shows up back in town. She's been gone for like a year. She and Bernthal were married. They had a kid. Something happened there was a tragedy involving the child, and Tessa Thompson basically just took off and left. But they weren't like divorced. She just left. And then so Bernthal's investigating this murder, but then you find out that the girl that was murdered, not only does John Bernthal know who she is, Tessa Thompson also knows who she is. So they start getting these like things start to escalate, and it's a very good series. It's 6 episodes, so it's not a ton of time. In fact, like all the episodes are like 45 minutes. The last episode I think is like 30 minutes, like not even that long. But so if you have a chance to check it out, I would recommend giving it a shot. It's called His and Hers. It's on Netflix. It's based off a book, I think. I saw.
Do you think is there like room for a sequel, or is this just going to be like a mini series, basically single run? That's
you might be able to get a sequel out of it, but I don't.
It's pretty self-contained.
It's pretty self-contained, yeah. It's pretty self-contained. Also in this show is Pablo Schreiber, who folks might know from Orange is the New Black. I think he was like kind of.
I didn't care for that show. We watched a little of it. I didn't really.
Yeah, he's Pablo Schreiber is he's the guard in Orange is the New Black. He's the male guard at the prison.
So that show also came out when our youngest was like, still like toddler, very young toddler. And so we would watch Sesame Street with her. Okay. Well, they would have like segments where they were like, it was kind of like movie parodies. And one of them was called Orange is the New Snack. And it was about like eating oranges.
Yikes.
That reminds me, I also did watch another couple of episodes of Wednesday, which I think is relevant because we will be talking about one of the actors on that show, Trevor Lawrence, and his performance against the Bills this week.
Okay, so you texted me this. You said you didn't tell me Trevor Lawrence was in the show, and then I thought about it. Which guy is Trevor Lawrence? Is he the?
Okay, I gotta look at his name.
There's 2 of them that kind of could fit the bill there. While you're doing that,
it's the one with long hair.
Okay. Is he also the white guy? Is the next thing you're going to tell me?
Yeah, it's the white guy. It's the one who is with the it's Xavier Thorpe.
Okay.
He's the one who's with the siren.
Yeah.
He has the painting studio. Or
That's
whatever.
who I thought you meant. But then I was like, well, the other guy, I can't remember his name, but like the guy that Wednesday kind of has a thing for, like
the coffee shop dude.
Yeah, he kind of has a little Trevor
Yeah,
Lawrence.
It was more the hair thing because I think he has this, he has the same like facial structure.
You're right.
With the
Yeah.
long hair, like, and
You're
so
right.
it that's why. Oh, and then, so have you ever seen? We were watching this before my daughter went to dance class just now. It's on Netflix and it's called Little Lunch.
Nope.
It's like a kids show. They're in like elementary / probably middle school.
Okay.
But it's done like The Office, where it's like a mockumentary style.
Oh.
And it is really good. Me and my wife
Animated?
are like, actually like, no, it's like live action.
Oh,
Kids doing
okay.
this. Me and my wife are like laughing out loud at this. So I think just give it like one episode and see what you think.
What is it called? Little Lunch?
Little Lunch.
Okay. Might check it out. And then give everybody an update on my, I talked about this last week, the Cinechums Challenge, and I'm trying to do the Denzel version where I watch a Denzel Washington movie every week that fits the bill. So a quick correction. So last week for week 2, I mentioned I watched the movie Mississippi Masala, and I believe I said that Ozzie Davis played Denzel's father in that movie, and I misspoke. It was not Ozzie Davis. It was an actor named Joe Seneca who played his father. So I just wanted to make sure I correct the record there.
That's good. We can't have people thinking that we're
Right.
a non-factual podcast. Not here.
Yeah. So this week, the prompt for this week, this one was a little tricky. So the prompt was siblings. Now, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. So, because I want to give you the full. Yeah. So this week's challenge is all about siblings: the good, the bad, and the complicated. Another fairly straightforward one to ease us into the new year. This week we're focusing on siblings in all their forms, whether it's siblings acting together on screen, siblings working behind the scenes, or siblings whose relationship sits at the heart of the story. So I started thinking of us like, is there any movie where Denzel is a sibling? Like he plays someone who A is a sibling and B, the relationship with his sibling drives the story. And I couldn't think of any off the top of my head. Now somebody may correct me and maybe there's an obvious one I'm overlooking. Then I thought, well, is there a movie that Denzel's in where there's a sibling story? He's just not a part of it. Like there's and again, I couldn't figure it out. So then I just Googled. Well, my next thought went to, so Denzel has been in 5 movies directed by the late great Tony Scott, and Tony Scott's brother is Ridley Scott. So I'm like, well, did any of those Tony Scott movies, were they maybe produced by Ridley Scott? Like work, that didn't work out. And then finally I just Googled, I said, Denzel Washington film directed by siblings, and the movie The Book of Eli popped up. And it is directed by Alan and I want to get the names right. It's directed by the Hughes brothers. So they both are listed as co-directors on this. I think it's Albert and Alan Hughes, who, just a quick sidebar, their debut film was a film called Menace to Society in 1993, which I also watched that this week, and it is fantastic. They were like 20 years old when they made that movie, which is insane to think. Like it's a really good movie.
Have you ever seen Don't Be a Menace?
Yes. Don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. Yep, I have seen that one.
I'm trying to get my GED. Man, I'm trying to get my GOB, a job.
We used to be a country. We used to make movies like those. So, Book of Eli was what I watched for this challenge because it is directed by siblings. It was directed by Albert and Alan Hughes. And this movie stars, obviously, Denzel, but your girl, Mila Kunis, is in this movie. She actually, I think this movie came out the same year as Black Swan, or pretty close. And it's so. Have you ever seen Book of Eli? Have you heard of this movie?
This is a great story because I put on Black Swan, and my wife, for the past however many years it's been since the Book of Eli came out, has been pestering me to watch this movie. And like when it came out, I was like, I really want to see this. And she watched it, and she was like, this movie is awesome. You got to watch it. And then I just never got around to it. And this weekend, when I put on Black Swan, she was like, well, I still really want you to watch Book of Eli.
Listen, I've never met your wife. She sounds lovely. She's right. It is a good movie. You should check it out.
She's a man. She's 40.
Easy, buddy. Easy. Look. So this movie stars Denzel, Mila Kunis, Gary Oldman, Malcolm McDowell is in this movie. Michael Gambon, who folks might know as the second Dumbledore from the Harry Potter movies, took over when Richard Harris passed away.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's a really good movie. Here's what I would say, and this is going to come off as bad, but I mean this in the best possible way. This is the kind of movie that if you were scrolling through your TV one weekend and you caught it on like Sci-Fi Channel, you'd be like, oh yeah, this is good. It's pretty good. But in 2010, when it came out, if you spent $13 to go see it at the movie theater, you might have been like, I don't know.
I don't know. My wife does not have that opinion.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that probably doesn't make sense, but like, it feels like I kept watching it as I was watching. I was like, this feels like a sci-fi original movie, but like the best version of a sci-fi original movie
with actual good special effects.
Right. With actual, there's a couple times where it's like, oh, that's CGI. Like that's you can tell that's but I would now listen, if you watch it now that I've told you and you didn't watch it because your wife told you, like you're just getting in all kinds of trouble. So
I think at this point, since we brought it up, we watched Black Swan again, which also has Mila Kunis, and I was like, has she been in anything lately? Because I don't remember seeing Mila Kunis.
This
from her in a while.
That's the other thing. This was kind of the apex of Mila Kunis because like Family Guy was not at its best, but like it was in a pretty good run. She had Black Swan. She had this movie. She had, I think, the Justin Timberlake, like Friends with Benefits movie. Is that her?
Oh, yeah.
Was that her? Yeah. I think that movie came out.
She was in one of those because there were two. One was with Ashton Kutcher and one was with Justin Timberlake. And they were both kind of like the same era. Kind of like the Independence Day and what was the other alien movie that came out that year?
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Mars Attacks
or something.
Yeah.
Mars Attacks. So it was kind of like that sort of thing. But I think you're right. I think she was in the Justin Timberlake one.
Actually, Mila Kunis was just in the new Knives Out movie, the Wake Up Dead Man. She's in that movie.
Oh, okay. Oh.
And that was, but to your point, that's the first time I've seen her in something in quite a while. So I'm looking to see. Let me just check her filmography here. Yeah, so she does. Yeah, so Book of Eli and Black Swan is the same year. 2011, she's in Friends with Benefits with Justin Timberlake.
Okay.
So the next year. And then 2012, she's in the movie. You remember the movie Ted, the talking teddy bear?
Yeah, with also
Mark Wahlberg?
the guy from also the guy from
Family Guy?
Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah.
Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah, he's And then I forgot about this. In 2013, she's in Oz the Great and Powerful. Do you remember that movie? It was like James Franco. It's like a prequel to The Wizard of Oz. It's like,
yeah. Did you ever see did you know that Seth MacFarlane's in an episode of Gilmore Girls?
I did not know that.
Is your wife a Gilmore Girls gal?
I think she is. I'd have to ask her. I don't. We haven't. I know she was. So when I first met my wife, the shows that she got me to watch and like binge were MASH, Friends, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and she tried to get me into Alias, the Jennifer Gardner show from like early 2000s.
I had a friend in high school who loved Jennifer Garner because of that show.
Yeah.
Like, I think of
for some
every
reason
time I see a Capital One commercial.
Well, and she thought I would like Alias because it's by J.J. Abrams, I think created by J.J. Abrams, who created Lost, and I was a big fan of Lost, so I just could never get into it for some reason. Anyway, but so Book of Eli fit the bill for week 3, so we're on to week 4. We'll see what the challenge brings next week. But I think that's it. Anything else you want to chat about before we move on here?
No, I think we can move on to another thing that I actually managed to watch a little bit of, which is the college football playoffs. They got off to I think they actually got off to a pretty good start with the Miami Ole Miss game. Shout out to Ole Miss for keeping this close. I think Miami probably winning was probably the right outcome. I think they were probably the better team throughout most of this game. But seeing Ole Miss, like we talked about last week, I think I don't know if I mentioned it on the show, but I think Ole Miss winning the national title after Lane Kiffin left would have been the funniest outcome for college football.
Yeah.
But I do think Miami was a deserving winner, and I think they just had more playmakers and were just able to do a little bit more. So that ended up being a good game. And then the Indiana, man, we may need to start talking about them in the, like, where do they rank all time in terms of college football teams, because they've put a beat down on everybody they played so far.
I was going to ask this question. In terms of like a turnaround for any kind of team, whether it be college, professional, I mean, before Cignetti got there, Indiana football was to say it was a laughingstock was to be kind. Like, they were never in contention. Outside of
they were the ultimate insult that you could give their football team was to say that they were a basketball school, right?
Right.
That's what they were. Is they were a basketball school.
I mean, outside of like the Antoine Randall L years, which were obviously 20 years or 30 years ago, I mean, they were a basketball school, and they would, but now, this is Cignetti's second year, right? And now they're, to your point, they're one of the most dominant teams in the history of college football, and it's crazy. It's kind of crazy to think. And didn't they just get a commitment from? Who did they get a commitment from in NIL? Like a pretty good quarterback.
Somebody to replace Mendoza. I don't follow.
Yeah.
I'm not good at following the NIL. I guess transfer portal.
I only follow.
I
only follow the big ones. Like, I know LSU just landed the guy from Arizona State, Leavitt or whatever. Indiana.
Take it or leave it.
Deal. Apparently Fernando Mendoza rejected an NIL deal from Miami.
Ooh. Well, he's from that area. Like, that's where he
Right.
grew up. He's like, because didn't he play his like high school ball, or high school football, like just a few minutes from Hard Rock Stadium? Isn't that like part of the story?
Yeah. I believe so. That sounds right. Also, I was not aware of this, but one of the big donors to Indiana NIL is Mark Cuban, who is an alum.
Oh yeah, I knew that. I did know that. I did know that much because he was one of the most famous alum. Is
I did
feel
not
like they
know
had
that.
somebody else who's also.
Oh, it was Josh Hoover from TCU. That's who transferred to Indiana. Who I think was a starter for TCU for a little bit this year. I don't know if he finished the season as a starter, but he's going to be Mendoza. While Mendoza's in Las Vegas, most likely next season, and we'll talk about. We might bring up Cignetti again here in a little bit. Talk about him, but what you got?
Famous alumni Suzanne Collins.
Okay. The
author of the Hunger Games.
Right. Isaiah Thomas went to Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
The Detroit
Larry
Pistons,
Bird.
Isaiah Thomas, no. Larry Bird went to Indiana State. He didn't go to Indiana University.
Okay, well, Google's AI overview.
Yeah, Google's.
They're wrong. They also said that Caitlin Clark went there, which she went to Iowa.
Trust me. She went to Iowa. It's like the best thing to come out of Iowa in a long time. To Iowa, coming out of the University of Iowa in a long time. Okay, so real quick, while you're looking that up, I just want to recap our bowl mania here. Andy has locked this up. He is 28-17 in first place. I'm 6 games behind, but I'm only 1 game under 500. So if I can get this national championship game right, I'll finish it even Steven here. Brandon's at 20-25. MJ Mann's 18-27, and Donnie is at 14-28. So we will be picking the national championship game here. I'm guessing we're both going Indiana.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, why? Why would you? What evidence is there? If I pick Miami, or if I pick Indiana and they lose, then I'll just say, and they don't cover, then I would just be like, okay, Miami played well. But if I pick Miami and they get blown out, then I'm going to feel like an idiot for watching all these games and then still going with Miami.
Right. I feel like this is a big game for Carson Beck in terms of his draft prospects. Even if they don't win, but if he puts up a good fight in this game. Now, again, the game is in Miami, so that I don't know how much that'll help or hurt. But
have you?
By the way,
do you have any idea of what his current draft stock is? What's the range?
Carson Beck,
a second or third? Yeah, is he a day 2, day 3 guy at this point?
Day
2 guy maybe.
I think best case scenario is he has a Tyler Shuck rise and ends up day 2. Carson is it Carson Beck? He was in the same recruiting class as Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, I think I read.
He old is what you're saying.
Yeah, he old.
He's a man.
He old.
He's 40.
But yeah, I think he's definitely not a first rounder. But if he has a good game here, he had a good game against Ole Miss, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. He's had his moments this season where he looks like a decent quarterback option at the next level, and then he's had some other moments where he looks like our guy Will Levis. So
Yes.
So what are you going to do? Okay, so we are both going Indiana minus 7.5 on this one.
Yes, that is correct. I'm putting my pick in right now.
Yeah, don't forget to put your selection in there. Yeah. All right, so we also did on our own. We did our spread picks and our confidence picks for the playoff games. So obviously ESPN's not doing this. We just did it on our own. Brandon against the spread 5-1 for the wild card weekend. The only one you didn't get
shabby.
was the Packers, right? Packers Bears. That's the only one you missed on.
No, I got I think I had the Bears.
No. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong.
Jags.
Jags. The Jags. Yeah, that was the one. I was looking at the wrong thing. So you were 5-1. I was 3-3. I was happy to be even Steven, to be honest. For the confidence, I was 2-4. You were 4-2. You ended up with 17 points. I ended up with 10. So need to
gonna have to make up some ground there.
Need to make up some ground here. We did not do upset picks or locks just because of the scarcity of games. We are not going to be doing our newish segments like support the team, really, really great. Just because there's only 6 games, we're just going to kind of do a traditional recap of all 6. Don't know how much time we'll spend on it, but let's see. Let's get into it. Let's talk about. We'll start on Saturday. Ashawn Robinson presents Rams 34, Panthers 31. We both got this one. We had Panthers plus 10.5, but we both had the Rams. I had a confidence of 4. You had a confidence of 6. This game went about what I thought it was going to be. The Rams got up pretty quick, but the Panthers clawed their way back in, kind of hung around.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. I know Rico Dowdle after the game was a little perturbed about his touches. Mentioned something about in free agency he wants to go somewhere where he can play, basically. So be interested to see where.
Come on back to Dallas, baby.
Say, come to New Orleans if he wants to.
Ready to strap up.
Right. I mean, this game, you and I were texting back and forth. Like, this game almost became a real eyesore for Stafford's career because he made the plays he needed to make down the stretch to win the game. The throw he makes to Parkinson at the end for the game winner is, great catch by Parkinson, great ballet move, a la Black Swan to get in the end zone. But yeah, it was rough there for a little bit for Stafford. And then I thought the Panthers, Bryce Young hung in there. They announced today, Dan Morgan, their general manager, came out and said they most likely will pick up Bryce Young's 5th-year option coming up this year. So makes sense.
Yeah. I think with what he's done over the past 2 seasons, he's gotten them into the playoffs. Now you battled against what is supposed to be one of the Super Bowl favorites in the NFC. You looked like you actually had a chance to knock him off and pull off the upset. I don't see why you wouldn't at this point give him a little bit more runway to kind of work with what you've got. I think you can probably add a little more. You've got Tedero McMillan. I think you can continue to build around him in that passing game because you still got like Xavier Legette, like the other weapons on that offense still could probably use a little bit of tuning up. The defense, I know they spent a lot of money in free agency to kind of tune that up. But I think with what they've done, I think they're moving in the right direction. So I think you probably give this a little more runway and just try to build off the success that you've had this season. And then in terms of this game, it just felt like the Rams were trying they didn't seem like they were interested in making this easy on themselves. Like they looked like they were forcing a lot of things at certain points, and Stafford looked like he was like, let me try to make the difficult throws when they didn't necessarily need to, and maybe part of that is the fact that the Panthers were able to do so. Like they've got a pretty talented secondary, I think, because they've got Trevin Merrick who from the Raiders on his second deal. They've got J.C. Horn, who I think missed, who I think he had to come off the field with an injury late in the game. But they've got like a decent secondary, and they spend a lot of money in free agency. I don't know if they have like the kind of pass rush. I think they're probably going to need to look for a pass rusher in the offseason. But I mean, kudos to them for really fighting back in this game, because at first it looked like the Rams were kind of might just turn this into a laugher and just like kind of wanted to prove that the first time was a fluke when they lost to Carolina, but kudos to Carolina for sticking with us.
This game for the Rams kind of felt like a microcosm of their season, their regular season, where it's kind of like they had their really great moment. I mean, Puka looked unstoppable in the first half or the first quarter, had the 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, and then they kind of just put it on autopilot for a little bit, and then but when they had, like I said, when they had to turn it back on, they turned it back on. So kudos to them for that. Their opponent on this week came from their next game, presented by BD Feathers. Bears 31, Packers 27. So I felt pretty good about my Packers minus 1.5 here for about the first half. And then, unfortunately, the second half happened. So we were head-to-head here. You had Bears plus 1.5. I had Packers minus 1.5. You had Bears at a 2. I had Packers at a 1. So this is going to might sound silly, but going into halftime, Packers have the ball. They drive down. They settle for a field goal. I believe the score was 21-3 at that point. And their kicker ends up missing. It was McManus, I believe. Ends up missing that field goal. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, I wonder if that's going to come back to haunt them. And then
did you see my tweet when that kick happened?
Mm-mm.
I said he's putting the anus in McManus.
Yeah, I've mentioned I have a former coworker who's a Packers fan, so I texted him Monday to check in on him, and he said, "Shoot Brandon McManus into the sun," or so. I forget how he phrased it, but
I think there's a few people on that roster that you might want to shoot into the sun, and might want to shoot the head coach into the sun. Although you probably want to keep him around.
So then
in there.
Well, and so then you. So then I go, and during halftime I was taking a shower, getting ready for bed, and turn on the second half, and it's 21-13, and the Bears have the ball and they're driving. I'm like, oh man, here we go. Here come the Bears. And Caleb throws that 4th down interception deep in the Packers territory. And I was like, okay, that's it. All right. That's it. So then the Packers go right back and go 3 and out. And like,
there were like 10 of those moments in this game where you're like, okay, that's it. The comeback is dead.
Right. Yeah. And then I totally dozed off. I totally Newmaned, and I fell asleep. And when I woke up in the middle of the night, I checked. I didn't even see the score. I just see the ESPN alert that says Bears roar back. And I'm like, are you serious? And I started looking at the highlights, and yeah, it was, I don't know. I asked my former coworker who's a Packers fan, I asked him the LaFleur question before this game. He's like, you're crazy. That's not going to happen. And then Monday he's like, I could see it happening now. Like, I don't like it's I think I see what everybody else was seeing. But what were your takeaways from from this one.
So I turned this game on around halftime. I saw like the last little bit of the second quarter, so that I saw like the missed field goal. I think I saw like a little bit at the end, and then watched pretty much the entire second half. But this was Green Bay tried so many times to give this game away, and Chicago was like, no, I don't want it. We don't want it. That fourth down play I wanted to bring up because I think you texted me on that, and I said, it's a fourth down play. Like the interception isn't really the big deal. I didn't like the play call there. Like what? It's fourth and short. You've got a great running game. Why are you trying to do this drop back game? And then like a guy's in Caleb's face pretty much immediately on that play. And so I didn't understand that. And then in the second half, like I don't understand the play call. I don't know if it's a Jordan Love thing or if it's a play calling thing, but it seems like third downs, whether it's third and long or third and short, they're constantly just throwing go balls to people. And so like I don't know if that's a situation where the wide receivers aren't getting open, or it's a play call, or Jordan Love just wants to take a deep shot in those situations. But the situational awareness was like just not there at all. And then the other thing is their 4-minute offense was they were just like sitting there throwing the ball, throwing outside the numbers when you're trying to eat clock. Like what is the point of this? And I mean, there was also the fact that Chicago scored. They left a lot of time left on the clock for Green Bay, but then that ended up not mattering because Green Bay runs out of time because they had to burn a time. They called the timeout to get in the right play. They come back onto the field, and then they get a delay of game, which is McManus misses another field goal because of that, because they've had to go 5 yards back from that. So like the situational awareness, the game management in this game was like just awful all the way around. And I think Jordan Love is talented, but I think there are moments where he got a little too much Favre in him, and that he wants to sling it a little bit, when I think a lot of times it's just like, can we throw something over the middle of the field instead of these low percentage long balls on like third down situations? I think LaFleur would be remiss if he didn't like kind of look at himself in the mirror and kind of look at where things went wrong, because they're always they're always shooting for chunk plays, and I think that at times they don't have necessarily the play calls that they need when you just need to pick up a certain amount of yards. They always want to live on these long, high variance plays, and that's kind of come back to bite them, especially in this game.
Yeah, so real quick, going back to the Bears, or actually staying on the Packers for a second. So one thing I did see, someone suggested that if LaFleur is staying in Green Bay, maybe LaFleur needs to hire an OC who can actually call plays so that LaFleur can spend more time as an overall game like in the overall game managing side of things.
Or why don't you do the thing where you hire a guy who's like, like a Madden expert, who's like more like kind of like in your ear. Maybe he's up top. Maybe he's like in the booth and it's like, hey, this is a situation. Just be aware. We got this many timeouts. We need this. Just as he's running.
That would be good too. I kind of get where Packers fans would be coming from, but again, as we talked about with the Ravens last week, we'll probably talk about with the Steelers here in a minute. Like, what's that option B? Like, who are you hiring to replace LaFleur? Now, obviously, you got the Harbaugh.
You got Tomlin and situation. Harbaugh available right now.
Now. And LaFleur's contract is up, so that's a piece of this too. The report came out yesterday. Is it up
this year?
No. He's got a year left. He's got a year. He's got a year left. But the report came out yesterday or today that they are looking. I forget how the phrasing was, but they're trying to get an extension done with LaFleur. So who knows? For the Bears, So this is the game I think that this is the game the folks want to see from Caleb Williams. Like plays that he can make. Well, in the second half. Second half.
People.
Yeah. Right. Sorry. The second half part of this game where it's plays he can make that are you're like, oh, that's what we want from our number one overall pick. I definitely think kudos to Ben Johnson for the job he's done with his team to get them to turn around like this. We'll see it'll be an interesting matchup this week with Bears and Rams with those two offensive minded head coaches. I do want to ask about this. So the scheduling here. So both these teams played on Saturday. The way it fell out is they're going to play each other, but now they are both going to get an extra day, which I guess is fine since they're both getting it. But they're not only on Sunday, they're the last game on Sunday, which seemed odd. Why they couldn't just make this game one of the Saturday games, put, I don't know, either Seahawks 49ers on, put something else on. I don't know. It just felt weird. But the NFL don't care. They just put the games where they are and just make money. All right, let's move on to Sunday's slate here. We'll start off with Nick O'Leary presenting Bills 27, Jags 24. We were both on the wrong side of this one. We both had the Jags plus 1.5. So my big takeaway from this game is – go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, in fairness, Jacksonville played well enough to win this game. The other team just had Josh Allen in this.
Right. Well, that was going to be what I was going to say. My takeaway is Josh Allen. So we talked about this last week. We said, look, there's no Mahomes, there's no Burrow. If you're Josh Allen, this is your time. And I think he took his first step towards this kind of epic run towards a Super Bowl. Because if you think about it, and not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but he's got at Denver. So he just beat Jacksonville, who was the AFC South champ. Pretty good defense, What did they win? 13 games this year? Jacksonville?
Something like that. Yeah.
I
think that's right.
So beat them. This week he goes to Denver, and Denver has one of, if not the best defenses in the NFL. So let's say he can beat Denver, and let's say the AFC Championship game is Buffalo at Houston. And we've seen Houston's defense and how good they are.
Well, we saw what
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
Yeah. So if he can go on the road, beat Jacksonville, Denver, and Houston to get to a Super Bowl, and let's just, again, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, let's say he gets to the Super Bowl and he beats Seattle's defense, or, I think Seattle's probably the best defense left in the NFC. That's a pretty epic run to a Super Bowl.
I think the three best defenses in the league are probably in some order are Houston, Denver, Seattle. Like those are the three defenses, and like he could have to face all of them,
all three of them,
to win a Super Bowl. Yeah, and we should also say Buffalo had not won a road playoff game since 1993, so that was 32 years ago. They finally did it this week.
Yeah, it was the first road playoff victory of Allen's career and obviously Sean McDermott's career as well. So if they go from that to now having to win two more road playoff games, because they are the lowest seeded AFC team remaining, so they cannot have a home game rest of the season, rest of the playoffs. I thought about this today. I was like, man, if Allen does this, if he beats Denver and Houston, hell, even if he beats the Patriots in the AFC Championship, like that's still,
I think at that point you just build the statue right then and there.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're Buffalo, so yeah, I'm interested to see how far they can go. I mean, so you and I were texting back and forth. I mean, his best receiver right now is Khalil Shakir, but like his second best receiver is Brandon Cooks. Like that's
I think Brandon Cooks is also the first receiver to have at least 50 yards receiving in a playoff game for 4 teams.
wow. Yeah.
Do you know that? Do you know that? Can you name the 4 teams?
Well, the Saints is one of them.
No,
And-
he did not have 50 yards receiving in the playoffs for the Saints.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so the Bills, obviously.
Yep,
Cowboys,
correct.
Rams,
Correct. You got one more.
Patriots.
Correct. You got him. Good job.
Did he make the? I'm trying to think. Was he? He had to be on the Saints playoff. One of the playoff teams for the Saints.
I think
He just didn't.
I think he did, but I don't think he had enough receiving yards. I was actually surprised that he had, but I was thinking like in that 20, he was on that 2023 Cowboys team that got dismantled by the Packers, and they were just having to throw the ball all the time because they were so far behind early in that game. So
Listen, if just real quick on the Jaguars, I mean, obviously a big step forward for them. They're definitely going to be a team to contend with moving forward in the upcoming years. I mean, another year with Lawrence in Cohen's system. We'll see how that goes.
well, I think
get healthy.
There's that, and I think you've got if the offense looks like it did for a full season, like it did once they got Jacoby Myers, and then everyone sort of gelled into that offensive system. I think coming back, Travis Hunter probably ends up playing mostly on defense and maybe a few snaps at wide receiver as like a gadget guy, because I think they've got something that they really like in Parker Washington. And so like you've got a lot to build on off of this season. So I think this team's moving in the right direction, and they also have a good defense.
And also, by the way, Brian Thomas Jr. As well, right? So I mean, and ATN's a good running back, and I mean they're going to be. I don't see any reason right now why they wouldn't be an AFC contender next year.
Can I ask you one? Can I propose? Should Jacksonville have intentionally lost the AFC South title?
Well, I mean, it's good. So had they done that, based on how everything else played out, they would have been at Pittsburgh. Would they have been?
Right.
I guess.
Correct. So would you rather play Josh Allen, or would you rather play the Steelers?
Well, I mean, I guess you have a point there. But I mean, listen, good first season for Liam Cohen. Did you see this exchange he had with a reporter after the game, where the reporter was like, keep your head up? I saw
everyone got their panties in a wad over about journalistic integrity.
Yeah, like who cares? Like
did you see the McAfee response to it?
No.
Okay, well, he was basically just like, all these people who became sports journalists don't even like sports. They just weren't smart enough to get into politics.
Okay.
So it was pretty funny.
Thanks for that, Pat.
I will say that these people you're not journalistic and you have no integrity. No way you get your panties in a wad about this. What a stupid thing to get mad about.
Exactly. All right, let's move on to this. This will make you happy, buddy. Greg Leader says 49ers 23, Eagles 19. I'm going to let you have your fun here at the Eagles' expense. So why don't you go ahead?
I would like to point out that Mr. Super Bowl MVP had less than 175 yards passing, averaged under 5 yards an attempt. So we see what happens when he's not being propped up by a running game. There were some moments where Saquon actually got going in this game, and I thought that because San Francisco is on their 5th and 6th string linebackers at this point, Eric Kendricks had the game sealing interception or the game sealing play on this one. So former Cowboy, by the way.
There you go.
And they just Christian McCaffrey looked pretty awesome too. They also we should also point out that the 49ers, despite being decimated, like defensively, the 49ers have just been down. Like they're missing Nick Bosa, they're missing Fred Warner. They lost George Kittle in this game to an Achilles tear, and the fact that Philadelphia's offense looked this inept is against the team that's been down so many people is the reason that Kevin Patullo is gone, because they've looked like this pretty much the entire season. Their offense is incompetent. Quarterback looks terrible. Defense is still pretty awesome, but the 49ers did a good job. I think the 49ers had a lot of good answers, and they did a lot of stuff with McCaffrey to put him in situations.
So my two takeaways. So first off, and I know all the regular season awards, I believe, have been voted on before the playoffs start, but Kyle Shanahan should be coach of the year. I mean, in my opinion, like all the injuries that they had, I know they played a last place schedule. I get that. But like for all the stuff that they had to go through with injuries and all that, and they're just humming along, and they could have been the 1 seed. Like they were one game away from being the 1 seed in the NFC. So hats off to them there. On the Eagles side, so the Patula thing. So I originally took the announcement today as he was fired, but the way it was worded, and somebody pointed this out, is he was told they're making a change at offensive coordinator. What makes it seem like he might stay with the team. He just won't be the offensive coordinator. Now, I don't know if he would.
Maybe he can help the offensive coordinator.
He's assistant,
my hope.
assistant to the offensive coordinator.
There we go.
Now, let me ask you this as a Cowboys fan. Who is the offensive coordinator that the Eagles could hire that would put fear in your heart? Is there one out there?
Someone who's smart enough to realize that Jalen Hurts ain't it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say someone who's smart enough to realize, hey, that's Saquon Barkley back there. Like we got Saquon back there. Like when Mike McDaniel, like if they hired Mike McDaniel or Cliff Kingsbury or I don't know.
Kingsbury doesn't do it for me. I think I would worry more about McDaniel. But his gadgetry kind of ended up falling a little flat eventually too. Because of a Alabama quarterback who just can't really cut it in the NFL. So
fair enough.
He has that experience.
Yep. So the 49ers will now travel to Seattle to play our good friend Trang's beloved Seahawks this weekend.
It's funny. So we get a rematch from 2 weeks ago. Kind of interesting little
and
there.
49ers have won in Seattle this season, all the way back in week 1. 49ers went into Seattle and won. So be an interesting matchup this week.
They did not look like the same offense in that week 18 matchup though. That ended up that
right.
They looked like they had no shot in that one.
Yeah. All right. Sunday night game here, presented by Not That Reggie White. Patriots 16, Chargers 3. I got to be honest, I didn't see much of this game.
You didn't miss anything.
So I did see. This is what I did see. So I believe it's the Patriots' first drive. There's a Drake turnover deep in Patriots territory. And the Chargers only turned that into 3 points, I believe. Or no, they turned it into 0. I think didn't they go for it on 4th down and didn't get it, or
I wasn't able to turn this game on until later. Because I turned it on. I think they were coming out of halftime. It was 6-3, and then the Patriots were driving. Drake May gets bumped in the back, and then he still decides that he's going to try to get the pass off, and then fumbles. Chargers get the ball back. Justin Herbert is getting like destroyed every other drop back, and so like I was like, okay, I think I've seen enough of this game, and then turned it off and went to bed.
Yeah, no. So there was. This is what it was. So it was the second possession for the Patriots. There's an interception. Drake throws an interception, and then the Chargers proceed to go 4 and out. So they go for it on 4th down. They don't get it, so they come away with no points. Patriots follow that up. They have a big play by Travion Henderson that leads to a field goal. Chargers come back, kick a field goal. So that's when. So my point being, when the Chargers didn't get points on that after that turnover, I was like, okay, this is how this is going to go for the Chargers probably. So, yeah, good win for the Drake. His first playoff win and his first playoff game, right? So
yeah, because this is only his second season,
right? So, they'll have a little bit. I think a little bit more of a test this week with the Texans coming in. We'll see how that plays out. We should mention the Chargers, much like the Eagles, will have a change in offensive coordinator. Greg Roman has been dismissed. Also, Jesse Minter, their defensive coordinator, will most likely have a head coaching job next year, based on what I've seen
in Baltimore.
Possibly. He's the betting favorite, I believe, in Baltimore right now. Or actually, no.
He is.
He is the betting favorite. Yeah. Flores is the betting favorite in Pittsburgh. Yeah.
He was the favorite when I looked last week. I don't know if that's changed or not, but he was the favorite in Baltimore when I looked. And then so I guess we'd call this the fall of the Roman Empire.
Yes, it is the fall of the Roman Empire, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know who Harbaugh will bring in for. Be interesting to see who he brings in for his offensive coordinator job. The Patriots again, kind of similar to the 49ers. They had a last place schedule. One, did some damage there. Travion Henderson's the real deal. I mean, Drake's obviously the real deal. I'd be interested to see how they do this week against the Tech. So it's very possible the Patriots could host the AFC Championship game. Like, that's not out of the realm of possibility here. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. The opponent for the Patriots this week was determined on Monday night. Sammy Coates presents Texans 30, Steelers 6. So you had the Texans, so you were on the right side here. I had Steelers +3, so not good for me. This Texas defense is the real deal. Sheldon Rankins, shout out to Saints legend Sheldon Rankins for a scoop and a score touchdown there. 2 defensive touchdowns for the Texans. I don't know if the Texans defense is as good as the Ravens 2000 defense, but this team.
Well, I will say that this game, they were going over on the Athletic Football Show. They were going over this like the advanced stats from this game, and it's like basically like top 2 in everything for like EPA per play, success rate, drop back success rate. Like they basically. I watched this game. And I turned it off. It was still, as my 5-year-old would have been very excited to say, it was still this score when I went to bed. Right. But you could tell that like Pittsburgh was not going to be able to do anything because Houston had turned the ball over 3 times, and Pittsburgh basically did nothing with any of it.
Right.
And so I was like, if I wake up in the morning and find out that Pittsburgh lost, I will go back and watch the rest of this game. But at this point, I have seen no evidence that they can do anything against this Texans defense, which is just a menace at all times.
Yeah, C.J. Stroud, 5 fumbles, lost 2 of them, also had an interception. So if you look at his stat,
He had 2 fumbles on like shotgun snaps where he just the ball got snapped earlier. He didn't handle it correctly.
But if I told you, so interception, fumbles aside, if I said, okay, Stroud's going to be 21 of 32, 250 yards with a touchdown. Woody Marks is going to run for 100 yards. If you're the Texans, you got to feel pretty good about your chances to win that game because you know your defense is going to be like a menace, like you said. So
with that defense, you only need to get to like 15 points to win a game most of the time. Like, you don't really need to do too much. And then I will say, like, Stroud needs to figure out how to move a little better in the pocket because he seems like when he gets hurried, his footwork kind of falls apart. And that was like what happened on that interception was this. He just kind of sort of like doesn't reset his feet and then throws it late kind of across the middle, like middle of the field maybe. Like somewhere between the field and the numbers. And so like there were times where he's just kind of like moving in the pocket and he'll be like sprinting forward, but he doesn't have his feet set. And I think those are the moments where he gets in a lot of trouble. So I think that's part of his game that I think would need to improve. But like when you look at the score of this game and then you take into account that the Texans like tried like lost their mind on offense, giving the ball away. And it was like, if they hadn't done that, like they may have won this game, but they may have put up 50 against Pittsburgh in this game.
They might have, yeah. Also, we should mention Nico Collins had to leave the game with a concussion. So that's something to keep an eye on.
That's a big loss. I will say, though, Christian Kirk was like out of his mind in this game. Pittsburgh couldn't cover him. Like he had the 150 yards receiving in this one. He was all over the place.
Yep. Who Stephen A. Smith accidentally called Charlie Kirk this morning on First Takes, which was not his best moment.
Well, he's trying to get into politics. That's one way to go about it.
Moving on. So that's wild card. That's the wild card weekend. We'll preview division round here in a second. I just want to go through. So last week we went through the picks 1 through 18 in the first round of the draft. I won't recap that, but so now that we've got the division or the wild card round done, picks 19 through 24 are as follows. You have the Carolina Panthers at 19. You have the Dallas Cowboys at 20 by way of the Green Bay Packers, thanks to the Micah Parsons trade.
That when that trade happened, everyone assumed that trade is going to be like 28 or better.
Yeah.
And the fact that it is now like only 8 picks
I'll raise my
away
hand.
from only 8 picks away from the Cowboys draft pick is that's a pretty big win, I would say.
I would say so, yeah. So Panthers 19, Cowboys 20, Steelers 21, Chargers 22, Eagles 23, the Browns at 24 by way of the Jaguars due to the Travis Hunter trade, or the trade that ended up getting the Jaguars Travis Hunter. That's 24. So, Panthers, Cowboys, Steelers, Chargers, Eagles, and then Browns by way of the Jaguars. So next week we'll have 25 through 28 settled based on who loses this weekend, this upcoming. So, speaking of which, let's talk a little coaching carousel here. So here's our openings at the moment. So I will mention the Dolphins did hire. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Before we go into the full carousel, do we want to kind of talk about do like a postmortem on the Tomlin era because that news just came out today.
Oh yes. I'm sorry. Let's talk about. Let's kind of set that aside. So obviously Tomlin stepped aside today after 19 years. I texted you. I said it feels like a Sean Payton thing. He's going to take a year off, come back 27, see where the landscape is. The Steelers do retain his rights, so this could end up being like Sean Payton, where the Steelers trade his rights to somebody.
Well, there is a team that I mentioned that we can get to later, but there is a team that I mentioned that might be a good fit, I think.
So, I took my interpretation when I first saw the news was that he's taken the year off, and I saw on ESPN a couple hours ago. That was what they reported. It said Tomlin steps down. Looks like he's taking 2026 off, which is cool. Which again, I don't know if he's going to do TV. I don't know what he's going to do, but I feel like we will not see him in 2026. He'll be back in 2027. My fear as a fan of the Saints is that Tampa's going to get through the year with Todd Bowles and realize he ain't it. And then Tomlin in 27, they're going to hire Tomlin. So I don't know if that's going to happen.
They're going to have some Bowles movement.
They're going to have some Bowles movement, yeah. Because one of the things I read today was Tomlin would prefer, I think I saw somewhere, is like he would prefer to go coach somewhere warm after being in Pittsburgh for 19 years.
He's had enough of the cold weather stuff.
I guess, but I want to say Tomlin was...
That does fit with my pick, by the way.
That does, but real quick, Tomlin, I believe, was on the Tampa Bay staff at one point, I think, years ago.
You know where else he was on the... the staff of?
Where's that?
University of Memphis.
Oh, there you go. Maybe he'll go coach.
Which is in a certain...
Okay, all right. Yeah, but just to listen. I mean, 19 seasons, never had a losing season. I mean, for him to get through this season, everybody thought it was going to be a disaster with the whole Rodgers thing, and he ends up making the playoffs, winning the division.
My joke here is that like this man coached one season with Aaron Rodgers, and that was enough. That was enough to drive him out of his job.
Well, and my text to you at one point was like, if the Steelers think Rodgers wants to come back next year, they would never do this because the Steelers are not the Jets. The Steelers would, if they think Rodgers is going to come back and Tomlin's not, maybe the Steelers go after Mike McCarthy to come in as for like a bridge. But the Steelers don't do that. The Steelers, for those that don't know, since 1969, they've had three coaches. The Pittsburgh Steelers have had three coaches in, what's that, almost 60 years?
Yep. I will say, I think if you hire Mike McCarthy than the Aaron Rodgers, I think these things are mutual. That's true. They're like magnets, you know. Those things are gonna push each other away. Before bringing one of them, the other is going out the door.
What if they hire Nathaniel Hackett?
Ooh,
that'd be bad. No, I have no idea who the Steelers are gonna hire. Like, it's really because.
What if they did a swap? Like what if John Harbaugh and
that
Mike
was
Tomlin swap?
That idea was thrown out there. The switch? No one in
the term is
yeah. No one in the course of human history has ever successfully executed the switch. Yeah, so
in the Middle Ages you could get locked up just for suggesting it.
The one thing with the Steelers, obviously, like when they hired Tomlin, he came out of nowhere. Like he wasn't on anybody's radar. And kind of the same thing with Bill Cowher when they hired Bill Cowher all those years ago. So be interested to see what happens there. Obviously, the Ravens are still looking for a coach. So let's go through the openings real quick. So you got the Dolphins, the Ravens, the Giants, Titans, Falcons, Cardinals, Browns, Raiders. General manager wise, the Dolphins, and then obviously now the Steelers, I should throw them in. General manager wise, the Dolphins have hired Sullivan's his last name. I can't remember his first name. But he came from Green Bay. He was the vice president of player personnel with the Packers. So he is now with the Dolphins, which led to a slew of rumors, if Matt LaFleur, if that situation de-escalates, maybe LaFleur ends up with Miami. The John Harbaugh connection was there because Harbaugh, his agent's father was like a president for Green Bay for years or so. I don't know. But anyway, so the Falcons are still looking for a general manager and a coach at this point. and then everybody else just looking for a coach. We have had a couple of coordinator. So obviously, we talked about the Cowboys looking for a defensive coordinator. The Commanders promoted David Blau to their offensive coordinator position upon the departure of Cliff Kingsbury. They're still looking for a defensive coordinator.
Where was he beforehand? Like, what was he doing?
He was with the Commanders. It was an internal. It was kind of like a promotion, basically. He was like the quarterbacks coach, I think, for the Commanders. I want to say he even played. He played in the league too. I want to say for a little bit. I know. Obviously, the Eagles looking for an offensive coordinator now. The Buccaneers also looking for an offensive coordinator and a special teams coach too, I believe. Where Todd Bowles has basically cleared out his staff, except for the defensive staff.
He cleared his Bowles.
He cleared his Bowles. He had a Bowles movement. Yeah, we talked about this. Yes, it's going to be interesting. I know we talked about Jesse Minter as kind of a hot property on the coaching circuit. Obviously, Harbaugh is kind of the first big domino to fall. So talk to me about your landing spot for Tomlin.
So I like
theory here.
I kind of like the idea because the thing with Tomlin's tenure with the Steelers is they eventually got to the point once Roethlisberger left where they could not really engineer a way to get a quarterback. So they would rotate through these veteran options. They would bring guys in, sort of stopgaps. But because they always had a winning record, they were always picking, in the early 20s, late teens. I think one year they traded up to draft Devin Bush. The one year they used that the 21st pick on
Kenny Pickett,
who turned out not to be it. And so the issue was that they were always looking for, the defense was good, and then the offense was constantly churning, needing to try to find another quarterback option. So I think Tomlin would probably want to go somewhere, and I don't necessarily know if he wants to work with the young QB, but it would make sense for him to kind of want to go somewhere where they have the guy in place. And I think Tennessee really sort of fits that mold.
Tennessee would fit that mold. I would say the Giants, although I don't know if Tomlin wants to go to New York.
That's a question. And how much do you believe in Jackson Dart at this point? Because and then the Raiders are going to have their guy supposedly.
Yeah,
so there's that.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of rebuilding. I think there's a lot of rebuilding that needs to go on there. But if Brady is included in the hiring process, I think he gets Tomlin, I think he would be willing to give you a longer runway than what you got from guys like Pete Carroll or the other coaches that they have recently cycled through. But I think Tennessee also has a lot to rebuild. I think they're still pretty thin. They have their skill position players are who are their wide receivers at this point? Calvin Ridley is terrible.
Yeah, Ridley, Elick Ayumanner.
Yeah, Elick Ayumanner. That's if that's your best wide receiver, you're kind of left wanting. Tony Pollard is your best running back at this point, who's on his second contract and probably on the way downhill just because of the running backs.
Tajay Spears. Here's something for the Steelers that I saw brought up. Rich Eisen brought it up. I also saw it brought up on Twitter. Do you know who was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania? A coach that was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania? Well, McCarthy's there's another guy who's named Kurt Signetti. Now, I don't know. Again, the Steelers tend to go younger coaches. Signetti's in his 60s, I believe. But I don't know, man. I think they would at least maybe make the call and gauge his interest, I think.
Do you think Signetti really wants to – after he's built up the program at Indiana?
I don't think he does. I don't
he
think
also
he
got just got that contract extension too. So that's going to be –
But if you're a football coach who was born in Pittsburgh and the chance to coach the Pittsburgh Steelers is out there, I don't know if that makes a difference. Like, I don't know what kind of difference that makes. I should mention, so Harbaugh, going back to Harbaugh for a second. So the two teams that have been linked to Harbaugh the most are the Giants and the Falcons. And in both cases,
you don't want him anywhere near Atlanta.
No, I do not. But in both cases, the backup plan, it seems like, is Kevin Stefanski, and I don't want Stefanski in Atlanta either, because like because I mean, we see Stefanski do more with worse in Cleveland. Like if he has Kirk Cousins, or that's the big question in Atlanta is like, what do you do at the quarterback position? Do you get somebody who's going to like get the most they can out of Penix? What's the Cousins situation?
So I told you this, but my kind of best situation for Atlanta is if you're the people in charge of hiring, you interview coaches, you talk about, and you say, hey, we don't have a first round pick this year.
Right.
We're not. Penix is still a work in progress, and we still have questions about him. Go through this year with him in place. See what you get out of him. If you don't like him after the season, we can work on trying to find a quarterback that you think works for you.
Right.
And I think that's the best way to approach the situation because, I mean, someone on the Athletic Football Show said the worst part of this is that Michael Penix basically didn't reveal to you whether he was like he didn't know one way or the other. That's like the worst part of this. It's like there's no definitive answer. Is he good or not?
You kind of take the kind of the philosophy the Titans did with Will Levis that one season, where Callahan was basically like, "Look, we know we're going to suck this year, but we got to figure out if Will Levis is it," and he wasn't, obviously. But yeah, I don't disagree with your stance there. So here's the way I'll phrase this. Who's going to be the Saints of this year? And what I mean by that is the Saints last year basically had to wait for the musical chairs to stop, and then they ended up with Kellen Moore, which, in retrospect, seems like it's going okay. Who's that team this year that's going to be like they got to wait for the – and to me, I think it's the Cardinals. Because if you look at the Cardinals, the other three teams in the Cardinals division are still in the playoffs, which is absurd. So that's going against you, number one. The other thing going against you is like the whole Kyler Murray thing. Like,
he gone.
Yeah, I don't see him coming back. But like, okay, well, what do? You're going to draft? They have the number 3 pick, so I mean, I guess they could conceivably just draft the quarterback there, depending on who's available. I mean, the Raiders' job, the most attractive thing there is the number 1. They have the number 1 pick. The Browns, like, I don't know, man. Like, they might just end up promoting Jim Schwartz to head coach. Honestly, is what it looks like at this point.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah, I know you were hoping to see him in Dallas. Do you want to give a quick update on the Dallas defensive coordinator?
So
search?
the guys that they have are interested in right now that they've been linked to is Leonard from the Broncos, who I think
Jim Leonard
Jim Leonard, who I think has worked in a lot of different places and has a lot of different ideas that he would bring to the defense. I think in terms of like the coverages that he runs are kind of actually similar to what Eberflus runs in terms of like cover 1, cover 3, but he's actually more creative with bringing pressure. The fact that he's worked under a bunch of schools of thought means that he could kind of bring in a bunch of different ideas to Dallas. And then the other guy that they've been looking at is Jonathan Gannon, who I also think is a good defensive coordinator. Maybe not a great one of those guys who's probably needs to rehab his career before he gets another shot as a head coach. I think that's a good option. They also reached out to the Falcons, which I was excited that they reached out to talk to Jeff Ulrich, the defensive coordinator in Atlanta, who I think has got a lot of good ideas, who I think would be a good potential hire. Now, right now, Atlanta denied them permission, but because they're undergoing turnover right now, he's still technically under contract. But once the league year ends, because of the fact that they fired their head coach, or if someone new comes in, he could potentially become available later. But they're trying to reach out to him, which I'm actually encouraged about, because what they did with the Eberflus hire is they just went with somebody that they knew and were familiar with. Yeah. This time they're actually doing they're throwing a wide net. They're interviewing guys with ideas, and I think Schottenheimer basically kind of was able to say, like, hey, look, you hired me, and then I went out and got Clayton Adams. I got these guys and brought them in who you were not familiar with, and look what it did for our offense. We need to do the same thing on defense, and I think that's kind of been, a positive aspect of the defensive coaching search.
Did they get permission from Baltimore to interview Zachary Orr? I saw that was another name. That,
let me see. I haven't heard anything on that one.
That was another name I saw. So I do remember now, the betting favorite to be the head coach in Arizona is Vance Joseph, who's the current defensive coordinator for the Broncos.
The Broncos, yeah.
Here's the problem. He was the head coach of Arizona like 5 years ago. So I don't know why.
Vance, we want you. Vance, we want you back.
I guess it would make sense. I don't know. I also saw. Now this actually would make sense. I did see the Cardinals did request permission to interview Texans defensive coordinator Matt Burke, who also was an assistant coach in Arizona years ago. But obviously, the way the Texans defense is playing, Matt Burke's probably going to get some attention there.
So there's no confirmation on. They've reached out to request permission. No confirmation on Zach Orr. But interesting, Orr is a Dallas-Fort Worth native who played collegiately at the University of North Texas, and also coached together with the Jaguars and with Schottenheimer in 2021.
Right. That's what I saw, is that he and Schottenheimer are close. They've maintained close friendship.
You could do a lot worse. You could do a lot worse than a former Ravens defensive coordinator as your guy.
Yeah, I mean, I know the Ravens defense isn't what it used to be, but he's still. Yeah. All right. Do we want to anything else on the coaching front we want to discuss?
No, I think we can get to the Donnie Dispatch and then move into this divisional round.
Yeah, let's run through. I think Donnie's got a few thoughts on the coaching carousel as well, but let's see what he's got here. His title of the email
about the. I wonder what he thinks about the Cowboys potentially being interested in Jim Leonard.
I don't know if he mentions it here, but Donnie, if you could write us in next week, we'll reach out. We'll reach out. Donnie's email's title is Playoffs. He said Jim Mora voice in his subject line there. So he says, Dear boys, welp, the Broncos drew the Bills. I was really hoping we could get the Steelers, but Aaron Rodgers aged 10 years in that fourth quarter, and Jacksonville is Jacksonville. Bills are pretty banged up. Broncos should be fairly healthy, so the bye week was important. Coaching carousel is crazy already with Pittsburgh and Baltimore opening up. Eagles OC and Lions OC, those are good jobs to be had. Pittsburgh seems like the worst of the two jobs that they probably need to break it down and rebuild around a young quarterback. Andy's Bears pulled one out of their butt. Survive in advance. So short email there.
Oh, we should
Donnie.
I should mention that Trayvon Diggs did make a brief appearance for the Packers.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot about that.
They ran like the screenplay right at him, and then the Packers immediately yanked him off the field.
Right.
Good work, guys.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good job there. Okay, you ready to pick some games for the divisional round here?
Let's get to it.
All right, so we're going to start. First game, speaking of Donnie, first game on Saturday, brought to you by former Saints legend, Emmanuel Sanders. This one's at 3:30 Eastern. Bills at Broncos. The Broncos are laying 1.5 here. I'm just going to lean into it. I'm going to go Bills plus 1.5, and I am going Bills at a 3.
Ooh, you're braver than I am. Now I'm going to go with the. I guess we'll put we're going to do Donnie a favor in here and put the double Bless Dem Boyz curse on here, because I'm also taking the Bills plus 1.5, and I will take the Bills at a 1.
Okay.
Let's just ride the Bills as the team of destiny this year thing. So.
Yeah, until they're not. All right. Oh, in that game, yeah, I said Emmanuel Sanders. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, you did.
Now, Saturday night, 7 o'clock Eastern. So 49ers have a short week here. They get to travel to Seattle on a short week. This one brought to you by Braylon Edwards. And the Seahawks are laying 7.5 points. That feels heavy. That feels like a lot, but we'll see. So I am going to go with, in tribute to our good friend Trang, as we've been doing all season, I'm going to take the points with the 49ers. So I'm going to go 49ers plus 7.5, but I'm taking the Seahawks at a 1.
All right. I will take the Seahawks and lay the points based solely on the fact the Seahawks had an extra week to get ready for this game. 49ers are already beat up. They've lost so many people on defense, and they also will not have George Kittle. They will not have George Kittle for this game as well.
That's true.
So I will take the Seahawks.
Should mention, they did open the window for Fred Warner to begin practicing. He probably won't play in this game, but should they advance to the NFC Championship or the Super Bowl, Fred Warner may be back for one of those games. So, I'm sorry, you're going to take Seahawks minus 7.5. Seahawks at a,
and I will take Seahawks at a 3.
3. Okay. All righty. Sunday, first game on Sunday, 2 o'clock Eastern start time here. Ryan Mallett presents Texans at Patriots. Now, when I put these spreads together, I usually go based on the ESPN app. The last I checked ESPN, it was Patriots minus 3. I checked Rebet. They had Patriots minus 3.5. So I'm going to go with the 3.5.
Okay.
Really, because I just don't want to push. I want to avoid the opportunity of a push. So the number we're using is Patriots minus 3.5. I'm going to go Patriots minus 3.5. Patriots at a 4.
Okay. I am going to say, it seems like every year that the Texans make the playoffs, they start with the usually the Bengals or the Chargers in the first round, and then they move on to the divisional round and they play the Patriots in New England.
Yeah,
like it seemed like even back when J.J. Watt was playing, that's how it worked.
Yeah,
I'm going to say that the Texans get over the hump this year. I'm going to take the Texans plus 3.5, and I will take the Texans at a 2.
Okay.
So you're taking Patriots minus the points too?
Yeah, Patriots minus 3.5. Patriots at a 4. And then last but not
complete opposite here.
Yeah, we're complete opposite there. Last but not least, Cowboys and Saints legend Steve Walsh presents Rams at Bears. This game at 5:30 Eastern Sunday evening. Bears are the home underdogs. Bears are getting 3.5 points. I'm going to take the 3.5 with the Bears, but I will take the Rams at a 2.
Okay. I will lay the points with the Rams. I'm going to say the Magic,
Okay.
the Chicago Magic. They are similar to the Chiefs in that they have gotten very lucky in close games, and they've had to pull off miracle comebacks multiple times this year.
Yeah.
I think the Magic runs out here. No offense, Andy. So I will take the Rams minus 3.5, and I will take the Rams at a 4.
Now, one thing I should mention I saw today, this game potentially may end up being the coldest playoff game in the history of the NFL. It's supposed to be very cold in Chicago.
Colder than the Ice Bowl?
I don't know if it's that cold, but yeah, it's supposed to be very cold. So keep that in mind. So I don't know if that's going to matter or not, but I just saw that today. Thought it interesting. Wanted to point it out.
That is a fair point because there's actually been research that teams that play in warm weather when they go to colder weather climates their performance does tend to drop. So that is like something worth mentioning, I believe.
All right, so just a quick recap here. So we're both on the Bills plus 1.5. And then we're head to head on the other 3 games. So I'm going 49ers plus 7.5. You're going Seahawks minus 7.5. I've got Patriots minus 3.5. You've got Texans plus 3.5. I've got Bears plus 3.5. You've got Rams minus 3.5. And then confidence. We're both on the. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go first, and then I'll wrap it.
Well, I was going to say on confidence, we both have the Bills. I'm at a 3. You're at a 1. We both have the Seahawks. I'm at a 1. You're at a 3. We're head-to-head, Patriots-Texans. I've got Patriots 4, you have Texans 2, and then we're both on the Rams. I've got Rams 2, you've got Rams 4. What were you going to say?
So it's worth mentioning that we could have 3 of our listeners, our three like main friends of the pod could be in the NFC and AFC championship games come next week.
Yeah, so we had I don't know if we talked about this on the show or just off air, but we had said that if the Super Bowl ended up being Broncos-Bears, we had to get Donnie and Andy on the show. But I would say if the Seahawks end up at the Super Bowl, maybe Trang would come on the show and chat with us.
Oh, absolutely.
And
then we should also say that the Dem Boyz official Super Bowl pick is still half alive because the Bills are still there.
That's true.
Packers Bills going into.
I totally forgot about that.
Bills going into this. The official Dem Boyz pick.
We're back, baby. We're hanging on there. So that's that. So when we reconvene next week, we will know the AFC and NFC championship games. We will have a college football champion crowned. What else? You guys will be back from your vacation for your wife's birthday? Hopefully.
Yeah, we will be recording next Wednesday, I think is the plan at the moment, just based on
that
travel
sounds good.
schedule.
Sounds good to me. Then we'll be getting ready for. Well, I don't know if we'll have any coaching hires between now and then. I don't know if we'll have any more coaching dismissals between now and then. I think we're done.
I think so.
We may
have some more interviews to report. We'll have some interviews to report on, though.
Well, unless like if somebody just wants to step aside. So like obviously, we had talked about Andy Reid possibly stepping aside, but I think he would have announced that by now if that was going to be the case.
I mean, he may wait till after the Super Bowl. He may take some time to kind of step away and see.
Yeah, I mean, Travis Kelce on his podcast said he's taken some time to see how his body, recovers and to see if he's going to come back next year.
I want to give a shout out to Travis Kelce because I did bet the over on his receiving yards and that cashed. Over 675 receiving yards. Good work, Travis. And then has there been any – I know you were worried about this, but has there been any has Brandon Staley been linked to any potential jobs?
So I was going to mention this. So the Saints staff. So Kellen Moore and Mickey Loomis had their kind of end of year press conference together. And Kellen Moore made it seem like they're not going to make any changes to the staff, which honestly, the special teams staff probably needs to be looked at because that was, I would say, the weakest link of the chain here. But Kellen said they're going to take like a week and a half to kind of decompress and then get back at it. Starting to look at 2026, obviously with the draft and everything. So this is a nice offseason for the Saints. They don't have to worry about a coach. They've got guys in place. They can start doing draft. Because remember, they were late to the game on the draft last year because Kellen Moore had to wait till after the Super Bowl to hire Kellen Moore. So, we'll see what that goes. They do have a decision to make on Chris Olave with his fifth-year option. So I haven't heard Staley's name. I haven't heard anybody's name from the Saints staff, which is good, I guess, in a way, because, you have consistency. I'm wondering if maybe
I think he probably needed like a couple of years of coordinating before he gets another shot, I think.
Yeah. Well, because you mentioned Jonathan Gannon maybe going to the Cowboys, and that Staley was the first thing I thought of, was like that same kind of image re-enhancement.
Yeah, and it's that, and you're also getting the guy who also has head coaching experience too, as a defensive coordinator.
Right.
So like that's
right.
Another thing that you got.
Right. Another guy I think we haven't mentioned, maybe get a second chance at a head coaching job, maybe Robert Saleh, who's obviously doing wonders with the 49ers defense, and they're, as you mentioned, like all their injuries and keeping it all together. So this has turned into a very interesting coaching cycle. Like towards the end of the season, you and I kind of looked at all the teams, and we had even said, I think I said, or maybe you said, like every team in the AFC North could change their coach, and all of them are except for the Bengals, which honestly makes no sense. Like I think the Bengals probably should be looking for a new coach too, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, it's also interesting. I think it's also interesting in the sense that, like, last year, the big thing was, like, we're looking at all these, like, offensive guys, like, kind of getting hired away.
Yeah.
You had, like, Liam Cohen, you had the Ben Johnson. Those were, like, the big names. I guess technically Brian Schottenheimer, another offensive guy, getting hired. And this offseason, it feels like there's more of a focus on guys who are either defensive guys or guys who, like Harbaugh, are more like the CEO executive types.
Culture guys.
Yeah, culture builders. Yeah, and so there's more of a focus. So, like, you're seeing names like, you're seeing Robert Saleh, you're seeing Brian Flores, you're seeing, Harbaugh and Tomlin are
Jesse
the
Minter,
types, but then Jesse Minter, Vance Joseph, like, these are the guys that are getting head coaching interviews this cycle. And you've seen with, like, Mike McDonald, I think is like the one guy in Seattle, is kind of a guy who I think has been kind of showed that model can still work. So I think it's an interesting cycle from that perspective as well.
I just came across this on Twitter. This is ML Football, at ML Football. I believe that's machine learning football. And here's their coaching predictions. So just food for thought here. Now, they don't have one for the Steelers yet. I think this might have been prior to the Steelers news. So their predictions are the Ravens will hire Brian Flores. The Dolphins will hire John Harbaugh. The Falcons will hire Clint Kubiak, which I don't like that either.
I heard his name mentioned in an interview. Like, that was a potential.
I don't like that.
They were interested
no, I ain't interested in that. I'm not interested in that.
Revenge time.
Yeah. The Giants would hire Stefanski. The Titans, this is a sneaky one. The Titans would hire Arthur Smith. So remember, Arthur Smith was the offensive coordinator with Tennessee when Vrabel was there with Tannehill years ago. So that would make sense. The Cardinals hire Robert Saleh. I actually don't hate that. I think that would be a good.
I can see. Yeah.
I don't hate that. Now that would also depend on who Saleh hires as his OC. Like, who's he going to bring in as his offensive staff?
Just take someone from the Shanahan tree over in
Right,
San Francisco.
right.
Why not?
The Raiders. I don't know if this makes sense. The Raiders hired Jay Harbaugh. Is that
a real person? Is that Jay Gruden just
no?
with
It
one
is.
of the Harbaugh brothers?
It is. Looks like he's with Seattle right now. Who's Jay? And then
he's the third. The third tenor.
Okay, so Jay Harbaugh is the son of Jim Harbaugh. He is the special teams coordinator for the Seahawks at the current moment. So that was for the Raiders, and then the Browns, Mike McDaniel, which I actually think would kind of be a good hire for the Browns. Like, their quarterback situation notwithstanding, like, I think McDaniel, because McDaniel again, McDaniel was with Cleveland back in the day when they had Johnny Manziel. There's that clip that goes around of like that fake play they ran with Manziel, and you could see Mike McDaniel on the sidelines. I don't know if you've seen this clip where it's like a fake play where like they're acting like Manziel's not where he's supposed to be, and then he just runs up the sideline and they throw him the pass.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Mike McDaniel in that clip. So let's see. Oh, this is from Tom Pelissero. Former Ravens coach John Harbaugh continues to gather information on possible destinations, and the expectation is he'll interview with the Giants, the Titans, and the Falcons by the end of the week. Other teams remain interested, but those three, Giants, Falcons, Titans, have the inside track. So I'll ask you, John Harbaugh as the coach of the Giants, how does that land for you as a Cowboys fan?
I think I'll worry less about that than I would with Stefanski, if that makes sense. Because I think I'd rather it, because Harbaugh, yes, is a culture setter, but also like then you have the question of who his offensive coordinator is going to be, and so like I think I'd rather stay away from some guy who can maximize start.
I think Todd Monken's going to follow him. I think Todd Monken's going to end up being the OC wherever Harbaugh lands, unless, because Monken has also been linked to the Tampa Bay job, because Monken and Baker Mayfield have a previous relationship. Monken also was the OC for Tampa Bay a couple of years ago. So, like, there's a natural pairing there. And Todd Bowles, I mean, again, we talked about this. He's coaching for his job, I think, in 2026. I'm kind of surprised that, I don't know. I thought Tampa would overreact to like Harbaugh and Tomlin moving on and just be like, sorry, Todd, we're not doing this. We're going to go after one of these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But I do think I would keep an eye on that for next year. I think if Tampa has another season like they did this year, they move Bowles out and they try to make a play for Tomlin.
Well, I think, and I think the part of that is like Todd Bowles is a defensive guy, and their defense wasn't necessarily good this season.
Right.
And so, like, at that point, you reach the point of what is it you do? What is it exactly what you do here, Mr. Bowles?
You're like Dennis Allen at that point, where it's like, okay,
yeah,
you're a defensive minded head coach, and your defense sucks. So, yeah. So interested to see what happens over the next couple of days, next couple of weeks. I would imagine we get some hirings prior to the Super Bowl, but as you mentioned, you might have to wait a little bit because there are some guys too. We talked about Matt Burke, who's with the Texans. He has to wait until the Texans are eliminated, I believe, to start interviewing. So there's issues like that where you have to kind of wait and see. But
yeah, so some of this will depend on who gets how far as well.
Which domino falls first, right? Like the Harbaugh domino is probably the first one to fall because as I mentioned, like if he goes to the Giants, then the Falcons are going to pivot to Stefanski, and then if that happens, then what does the next team do? And so interesting to see. We'll keep you up to date here on the show, so tune in. We'll let you know what's happening. Any college basketball news from you?
No, so I had like my biggest on Saturday. Like I had like 46 wagers placed, and I was 23-21 going into the last two games, and lost both of those to go to 500. And then the next day, there were like no games played because like everyone had played the day before, and then I went 4-0 on that. And then last night was a disaster, and I went 2-7. And then I started off okay tonight. I think I started off like 4-2. So
gotcha. Well,
UConn lost by the hook. UConn lost by the hook.
The hook always gets you, man.
Brutal. I know.
Hook always gets you. All right, boys and girls. Well, we'll chat with everybody next week. Yeah, so the episode will be out a little later next week because we're going to record on Wednesday as opposed to Tuesday. But we will see everybody then. Hope everybody has a great week. Stay warm out there. It's cold. I know here in Texas it's gotten down to the 40s.
We're down into the 40s, folks. We're freezing over here. Brutal.
Yeah. We got the fireplace going and everything.
We're practically on the ice caps.
Yeah. So until next week, happy football, everybody.
All right, happy football.